Hello, happy June and happy Pride Month. Alicia Jenish-Mc, executive chef at LinkedIn San Francisco, part of the Artisan Restaurant Collection. And today I'm going to share a recipe with you from Susan Feniger. She's a very well-known LGBTQ chef and one of my personal favorites. She's been a well-known chef since the mid-80s with her business partner, Mary Sue. Susan has a really fun personal style, always rocking the pastels, tons of bangle bracelets, and she does really fun Southwestern cuisine. So the recipe I'll share with you today is for her shake salad from this book. And I'll share one of my recipes for a pork roast that will go really well with this spicy, citrusy salad. All right, here are the ingredients for this super simple salad. We have jicama, orange, red onion, mango. Susan's recipe calls for pineapple, but I actually prefer mango. Some Fresno chili. This is a red jalapeno, about medium spice. Susan calls for either habanero or cayenne, but that's a little too spicy for our household. And fresh lime juice. All right, so first we're going to peel our jicama. It has a very fibrousy skin, so instead of using a peeler, I prefer to use a nice sharp knife. And you want to make sure you cut down enough to get that sort of first layer of skin, so you see. And then we'll just go carefully around the jicama until it's all peeled. Okay, we have our jicama peeled, and I'm going to cut it into chunks. Susan's recipe calls for sticks, but especially when I'm serving it as an accompaniment, I'm going to cut it into sort of small dice. Just like that. Okay, up next is the red onion. So for this amount of jicama, I'm going to use half this red onion. So I want to top off. And then we're going to do a thin slice, or you can do a small dice. And for when I'm using red onions in fresh salads, I like to give them a quick rinse with cold water after I'm done slicing them. I think it just gets a little of that sharpness, and it kind of prevents your entire salad from tasting like a red onion salad. So after a quick rinse, we'll add this into the jicama. Next, we're going to segment our orange. So we're going to start by taking off the ends. And then cutting down and removing all the skin. Okay, now that our skin is removed, we're going to do this part over the bowl, and very carefully, because we're going to be cutting towards ourselves. Just carefully cutting in and releasing the segments. And the reason we do this over the bowl is so we can capture any of the juice that falls from the orange. And then once we've removed all of our segments, give the remaining part of the orange a good squeeze so you can capture all the juice in the bowl. Okay, up next we're going to add our chili. And again, for this amount of salad, I'm probably just going to use half this pepper. And I'm going to remove the seeds, but depending on how spicy you like it or not, you can leave them in. And again, you can use habanero, you can use cayenne, you can omit the chili altogether if you have little children in the house that don't like any spice. And I'm just going to dice it up and add it into the bowl. Now our final step, at least for right now, is we're going to squeeze some lime juice. And I love these little juices. And I'll probably use both halves. And then we're going to give the salad a nice stir, and then cover it and put it in the refrigerator for an hour or two. And then right before you serve it, that's when I like to add the mango, because the mango will break down. But this gets even better as it sits all together. So we'll let it sit for a couple of hours, add our mango, season it with salt and pepper, and then we'll roast our pork. All right, so we're gonna make our marinade for our pork roast to go along with our shake salad. And I like to make marinades in my mortar and pestle because it really helps release all the aromas of the ingredients in your marinade. So I have my cloves of garlic in there, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt to act as an abrasive, and then start smashing. The garlic will quickly release some of its juices and start making a nice paste. And that's why I really like to use the mortar and pestle for my marinades. There you go. So as I keep smashing, I'm going to add some of my other spices. So I'm adding some cumin, some Aleppo, and then I have some oregano that I dried myself, a nice way to preserve herbs. And then I'm also going to add some fresh black pepper and some lemon zest, and my preferred way of doing that is using a microplane. Where would we be without the microplane? And then we're going to continue to go to town on this. So we have a nice paste. And of course, if you don't have a mortar and pestle, you can chop all the ingredients by hand. You can throw it in a blender, whatever you got. So now that it's a nice paste, I'm going to add some olive oil. And I'm not going to add any additional seasoning right now because I'd like to marinate my meat without a lot of salt and pepper. So I'll put the marinade on it, and then we can season it before we cook it. Here's our lovely pork roast from Milano Secco. And this is pork butt roast. I really like it because it's darker meat and it's a little fattier, but you can use a pork loin. You can even use a pork tenderloin. This marinade would be great on pork chops. So just pour it on in there. Rub it down. And you want to make sure you evenly cover it and then let it marinate for as long as you can, up to a few hours or overnight. And then we'll get to roasting. Here's our beautifully marinated pork roast, and I put a nice layer of kosher salt, and I pulled it out of the refrigerator. You want it to come to room temp before you put it in the oven. So I'll have it at room temp for about an hour, and then I'll put it in a 450-degree oven to get it nice and brown. And then I'll reduce the temperature to 350 to do a slow roast on it. Alright, so my roast is nice and brown, and I add some chicken stock, and I'm just gonna let her go. So my jicama, red onion, and orange and lime and Fresno have marinated, and then I just added in my mango. And I'm gonna marinate that for another half an hour as my pork roast finished. So this is after about 4.5 hours in the oven. Delicious, and we're gonna let it rest at least half an hour, and we'll slice it and have it for dinner with our delicious shake salad. So the pork is out of the oven, rested for about half an hour, and thinly sliced. So we have the perfectly roasted pork shoulder and Susan Feniger's delicious spicy jicama salad. What a perfect dinner.